Okay, hey guys, we're out here in the range. We just finished our little range sesh with this guy here. This is the Desert Tech MDR. This is a firearm that I've been looking for quite a while now. One, because I am under the impression that this is more or less a bullpup scar, which if you look at how it's kind of set up and how things work out, it kind of is. But at the same time, this is almost its own little beast, and a beast it is. So I just got finished shooting, 20 rounds. Nothing too crazy, nothing too massive. First observations, first and foremost, is muzzle blast off of this ratchet compensator of theirs is tremendous. It's not as big as the Scars PWS FSC 30 muzzle brake. As you can see, there's a 3-prong component to it and a two chamber component to it. It does reduce the recoil though. I won't, it reduces the felt recoil. I won't deny it that, but being so close to your face, essentially with everything going on, it's definitely a lot blastier than the Scar or any other 308 where it's kind of pushed out a little farther. So I guess something to just think about when you go to the range. If you're conscious about that kind of stuff, you might end up, getting blasty with your neighbors. If you don't care, then, it is what it is. But it works. Polymer handguard up here works fine. I will say though that this is a, if you're trying to rest this on a bag, I almost want to say the Mantis handguard is almost a necessary upgrade, just because there's not a whole lot of space here for your hand. You can kind of hold on to it, but if you put M-LOK stuff at the bottom, it might get in the way of shooting bags and stuff like that. I have no problem putting iron sights on the front of this. I know it's a polymer rail. It's a backup option anyways. If this dies and this dies, then we have real other issues that I need to probably just go home and do something else with. This isn't, I wouldn't call this a gun I would put my life on for the time being. Another observation, the M-LOK slots are, they're fine. On the bottom it's kind of weird though, because as you can see there, there's all this ribbing that you're supposed to grip against, but if you put M-LOK stuff at the bottom, sometimes it won't sit necessarily flush and it'll get all sorts of light through it. It's solid, don't get me wrong, but something to still think about. The gas adjustment, it's 6 positions, but I have only used for one of them because essentially I don't have a suppressor obviously, and I don't have any need for it to not work with what I got. With that being said, with my hand loads, I mean, it cycled just fine. I didn't have any problem with it. So gas system adjustability is great. Almost a moot point to me. This gun's big selling point is essentially its ambidextrousness, right? So the charging handles are on both sides, right there. And this is the post 2023 model, so you'll get the fixed one, not the cool folding one. But essentially this one is, it's non-reciprocating, which is why it's able to kind of travel in its own little sled. And magazine releases are up here, AR style, perfectly functional. Not sluggish at all, if you will. Probably would help if I put that in correctly, but yeah. So everything drops free, perfectly fine. Trigger on this actually surprised me, if you will. I'm kind of used to bullpups having way heavier triggers, so the first few times I pulled the trigger, it's like so I guess bullpups have ruined me. I always expect way heavier triggers, which is why I was kind of thrown off guard, but it's kind of like a nice thrown off guard. So trigger worked out pretty well. Selector, I don't know if this is like it's gumming up thing or whatever else, but definitely it's a little bit more difficult now to actuate. Maybe that's just it breaking in or whatever, but safe and fire, nice and easy, nothing wrong with that. Haven't used this rear magazine release very often. The buttons up here are just so useful. I don't have a use for this one. Magazine well, as previously talked about, it takes all SR25 pattern magazines. So anything that is like this Lancer, P mags, the metal mags, D&H mags, they all work. They all work great, as far as I'm aware for now. So sorry, you can kind of see my little camera stand there. That's the best I got. Bolt release in the back is nice and intuitive. Front part to hold the bolt open, rear part to release it. And like I said, because this gun is super ambidextrous, I guess the MDRX's big gimmick, if you will, every gun's got to have a gimmick, right? Everything's got to have a little thing to stand out. Its little gimmick is this. There you go. Because it's forward eject, if you hit the bolt, shoots the brass casing out of the front, and you know what, I don't have anything to say wrong about this. This thing works perfectly. And I'll spice in a little shooting footage of me trying a zero, and it just flawless, perfect. Nice big rubber butt pad in the back to soak up all that recoil. I will say I've had one hell of a time trying to get this to zero, but I finally got it. We just had to get way closer in order to do so. But with that being said, the MDRX, accuracy wise, I would say is on par with all the other battle rifles. It's not super great. It's not super terrible. It's a battle rifle, you know. You gotta expect it for what it is. Semi-automatic battle rifle that does one gimmick a little bit better than the other one, and the other gimmick, I guess, if you will, is that it's a bullpup. I mean, how many bullpup 308s that are semi-automatic do you actually see? The RFB is one, and this one's probably the other one. I know the M17S is one, but man, who actually has one of those? I've never actually seen one. So yeah, 308 bullpup. It's very interesting. Would I tell you guys to get one just based off of the 20 rounds I was able to fire today? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you one way or the other. If you like 308 bullpups and you like something kind of new and special, this wouldn't be a bad option. It's definitely a lot more modern. It's definitely a lot more ergonomic, for sure, than most other bullpups. I mean, this compared to the Hellion is almost night and day. The Hellion is, I wouldn't say bulky, but it's bulky in spots that you wouldn't expect. It's very European in that manner. They like carry handles and rail offsets and stuff like that. And it's a different design philosophy for sure. But you can definitely see that this was American designed and produced, right? The front handguard is thin enough that you can essentially C-clamp it. With that being said, I think the Manus, the Black Label Manus, the handguard that has the built-in bipod, I think would work very well, and it's an absolute must-have upgrade for the MDRX. But either way, nice, easy. You can do thumb over bore with this. Non-reciprocating charging handle. As we've learned from the older reciprocating handle scars, a lot of people had a lot of complaints about that. Another thing, super low bore access, relatively speaking. It's not like the Hellions or the AUGs or anything like that, where it's like way high above the bore line. This is pretty low for all intents and purposes. And us Americans, for whatever reason, we have a love for everything ambidextrous, even though we don't even use it half the time, and it just adds an unnecessary bulk and weight. Either way, for whatever reason, for like the 1% of the time you're actually going to use this left-handed or opposite-handed, you can do it. So, like I said, yeah, I think this is a pretty cool gun. Definitely gonna reload and shoot it more. See if I can't get a little bit more performance out of it. I know I can. I know it's mainly just me. So maybe just tighten up the shot group a little bit. Paid $2,600 for this, and I traded in that SIG 716i I've featured in a few videos before this, and that P229 that I practically never shot, to get this guy. And I gotta say, has this exceeded my expectations from all the literature and all that? I wouldn't say that exactly, but is it as bad as some people make it out of me or used to make it out to be. No, I mean, this thing is a totally functional firearm. Again, maybe it's just I need to shoot it more. I definitely need to shoot it more. I need to shoot all my guns more. You know, how else are you gonna learn how to ride a bike if you don't ride it? So, yeah, we'll just keep shooting this more, keep having fun with it. But yeah, I really like the Desert Tech MDR. This is a really, really stinking cool gun. Yeah, let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the other fun stuff, and see you guys later. Goodbye. Okay, wow. Lots of muzzle blast on this guy. So let's just keep moving the camera around until we find something that works. Wow, that's got a lot of muzzle blast.